And the game is about players. It's always been about players. It always will be about players. Somehow in this great business of college football, we've lost sight of that. We can have another conversation of why that's happened. It's about the players.
What other offers did you have, schools did you consider other than UTSA?
So the crazy thing is, I had committed to UTSA on an official visit, and then I had ended up getting a scholarship to Baylor. But I had a scholarship at Temple too, and Coach Rule was at Temple, and then he went to Baylor. So I went to Baylor, he offered my scholarship, and I took an official visit to Baylor, and it was just different things, and they were trying to get me to change my mind, but I was already committed to UTSA, and I just stuck it out, and I just chose to stay at UTSA.
How hard was that? I mean, given Baylor's success and pedigree and all they've done.
Shoot, I mean, I just wanted to be loyal. I never was the type of person, especially how college football is nowadays, but I just never was that person I was like, I'm already committed, Ain't no point to just switch up right now. And it just taking a visit and being around different teams, it actually gives you, an open eye on how teams look and stuff like that. And I just felt way more comfortable being at UTSA. And I knew just throughout the recruiting process that was just one of the right decisions for me, even though other bigger schools came and stuff like that. But I just stuck it through.
Have you heard much from your UTSA buddies? What have they said?
Oh, yeah. I done watched all the games. I even here, I talk hella trash with players here. I want my school to be known. So I always talk to my former teammates and the coaches. I text them. I got them on my phone right now, And it's just pretty cool just hearing after my games and stuff like that, hearing how happy the coaches and stuff are because, they seen me grow from a receiver, learning the cornerback position, and now being a great cornerback and striving to be one of the best.
Are Seahawks games now must-watch TV in San Antonio?
A little bit. But there is a lot of more of my jerseys in San Antonio now for sure.
Is the coach that told you to go play cornerback as he's reached out and be like, I told you so?
Sure. I mean, so Coach Wilson, he was the coach at the time when I did, transition to cornerback. And, I mean, not saying that he was a bad coach or nothing, but me and him whenever he left, me and him didn't really, end on the same type of eye-to-eye terms. But, I reached out to him. He didn't have to reach out to me. I reached out to him, and I just told him, thank you. Just like how I told y'all, shoot, I didn't see the vision at the time, and maybe you did, and I just had to trust it. And as a young player, I may not understood, but now it's just everything that I wanted to do as in being an NFL football player is happening. So I just told him thank you, and he appreciated it.
When was that you reached out to him?
I want to say that was I want to say 3 weeks ago. I want to say closer to the Germany trip around that time.
You texted him?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how did Matt Rule see you from up in Philly?
That's a good question. But he found me, and I remember I took a 30 visit to the Panthers when he was the head coach, and he was just happy to see me, and he teased with me a little bit, about not committing, but it was all love, and he had some of the Baylor staff with him at the Panthers too. So just hearing them, it was crazy because they seen me in high school before I had hair all on my head and stuff, and now they see me older with facial hair and all that, and it's pretty cool. Just seeing old people that, you can reconnect with because you don't never want to burn those bridges because you never know who you'll need one day.
Did Matt want you to play receiver?
That's a question. Yeah, so I was recruited as a receiver, so I'm sure, yeah.
You said you had already committed to UTSA before the Temple visit?
No. So I had visited Baylor. Yeah, so I had committed to UTSA on my official visit. And then after that, no matter what school was reaching out to me, I just tell them I already know my heart. Well, it was plenty of schools, San Diego State, Utah, a couple schools just was trying to reach out to me kind of close to signing day, and I was just nah, I just want to stick it with UTSA.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
With the 153rd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Tariq Woolen, defensive back, UTSA.
Baldy, one of my personal
Mike,
favorites.
This is
He's
a
fast.
This is a road runner. UTSA right there in San Antonio.
Literally,
this is the
figuratively.
fastest defensive back in the draft.
Yeah.
And he's 6'3". And so when you have, that's how you get drafted in the 5th round. If you're from a smaller school, a Conference USA school, the way Tariq is, you got to have a skill. So you're talking about a 6'3" corner running, in the high 4.2s, low 4.3s. Like, you can work with him. Now, I think he's got to be able to change direction better. I think he can play the ball in the air better. He's a very slender frame, but he's got top flight speed. He can play the ball in the air. You've got a lot to work with when you pick up a guy like Wooten right now.
Yeah, you mentioned that 40 time, 4.26, and that measurable. I mean, he's 6'4", 205. You're right. He is lengthy. He's got that range and not a ton of experience at corner. He made that transition a couple years ago, moved from wide receiver, and that happened 2019 or so. So he's got 2 seasons now under his belt at that corner spot. But Baldy, I think you make a really good point.
Well,
you run like that,
Seattle drafted
find a
Richard
home
Sherman,
for
who
you.
was a wide
The draft
receiver at one
continues
point
to
before he
roll
became a
here.
defensive
Philadelphia
back.
is on the clock.